It's week 45 of the Trump Roundup, and, well, here's the thing. Maybe they will be rounding him up pretty soon. Hey?
No. Lots more weeks, honey.
No,
we've got a few more. We've got a few more weeks, but they're definitely warming up the wagon. Let's just say it that way.
Well, I hope their rush to get the tax thing through is a sign that they aren't confident he's going to be around much longer.
Yeah, that's my impression.
And so what we have going on right now is that Michael Flynn, we kind of knew this one was coming down the tubes a bit because, I mean...
Oh, we did. I think we called this like 40 weeks ago.
I had it confused about whether it was going to be Manafort or Flynn for the longest time. I almost put money on it because I thought for sure it was going to be Flynn.
I know. I was really agnostic on who was going down. Like
there was question.
And so he's been tagged just like Papadopoulos was. With lying to the FBI. Lying to the FBI, which is a possible 5-year term in prison kind of thing. But, however, people need to realize that this is not what they had him dead to rights on. Like,
no,
they had
not
him
at all
on multiple charges that haven't made it into the public, and we're talking about like FARA violations where you failed to register as a foreign agent, like he was working for Turkey. And FARA is a Foreign Agent Registrant Act. And so we're talking about there is actual conspiracy that they could have got this guy on for trying to kidnap a cleric that was wanted in Turkey from the United States. Like they were going to bag over his head, throw him in a van, and deliver him to Turkey.
This is Gulen, the guy who was supposedly behind the coup.
Yeah.
And let's see, what else do we have that he was going to be brought up
being given sanctuary by the American government, by the way. So technically,
tell me more, darling. Talk dirty to me.
And so, what we had is that
I've never had my knowledge of Turkish internal politics ever had that reaction.
Okay, when it's evil people being taken down, that's a turn on for me. So, like, let me have this, Kevin.
Well,
Kevin.
Technically, he might be guilty of high treason.
Yeah.
That's my sexy voice. See?
And so, what we have here is that Flynn was brought in for this one charge of lying to the FBI, even though they had him on other things. And they released the statement of all the stuff that he was actually admitting to in front of the court. And
they did.
Which included stuff
really
about
the
Trump campaign asking him to get in touch with Russia. And he's going to go on record for this. And that's about...
he's not just the campaign, honey. He's going to go on record for Trump.
But that's not in the record yet. This is what we know is going to happen.
This is plea. It screams to me plea bargain. He's told some shit behind the scenes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Well, and people are forgetting. People are forgetting that he came to the Mueller investigation last year after he was fired. Or no, he was fired this year, but he came. It feels like it's been a fucking eternity.
It's been a lot of.
It's been a while.
He came to the Mueller investigation. His lawyer said, "Hey, he wants to tell his story. We want immunity."
Yes, he did.
You don't do that for lying.
Did.
Lying
and then
to the
Mueller
FBI.
said, "Not immunity." Oh, I love it because he didn't even get immunity. He didn't get it. No, the best he could bargain for was 1 to 5 years.
Which, if Trump is dumb, he will pardon him. Even though he has him on it. I don't understand how. And Mueller did all this, and he's playing the grandest game of like, I'm gonna fuck you up, chess when it comes to politics, because he's not obligated to tell the public what Flynn told him.
No, not at all.
He's playing it so tight. He's just giving enough that the public can go, oh shit, this is bad. And it is, and public opinion is turning against them. And
as much as they possibly can, yeah.
Well, his motorcade showed up somewhere this weekend in New York City, I believe. And there were people out there chanting, "Lock him up, lock him up."
Oh,
which is delightfully ironic, given that he was the one.
Absolutely.
Delicious. It's delicious.
The beautiful thing about all of this is, I predicted ages ago, these people are so corrupt and so self-serving that once one of them went down, they were going to stab each other in the back, left, right, and center.
Exactly what this podcast has been saying. This is exactly what this podcast has been saying since the election. In fact,
all it's going to take is one of them. All it takes is just one of these people.
Right. Because these are, as we have said, the stupidest criminals we have ever seen.
That's just because they're too privileged to be clever.
And so,
this thing, Trump basically, it seems to me, has believed, and quite rightly, all of his life that he can get away with whatever the fuck he wants to.
Yeah.
But the thing is, treason tends to elicit slightly different reactions from
public office. Just a little
bit.
Public office.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you can get away with just about whatever you want as a businessman, especially when you're a rich businessman. However, when you're in the public eye, in the public office, and running shit as a government, people tend to take that a lot more seriously. Because you're using public money, taxes, you're passing laws and everything. It's like, no one gives a shit what you do in your shitty corporation, your shitty real estate business that you go bankrupt like 4 times with. But they tend to care when you talk with a government that's been an adversary of ours since, end of World War II.
And not just that, but people take a bit more notice when you remove their health care, or you quadruple their taxes when you said you were going to cut them and things.
Just a little bit.
But he's still selling it to people. I'm doing this greatest tax cuts for everybody out there. It's going to be wonderful. It's the greatest Christmas present I've ever given you. Just
not just that, but in his own tweets, he describes himself as the most favourite president ever. You think, you're a psychopath. What's wrong with you? Who describes himself in that?
He's not okay. He's
very much not okay.
Please tell me you guys saw the pictures of the crowd at the tree lighting. Which is usually a packed event for most White Houses, and especially when the weather's not inclement. It was a beautiful, 40-degree evening in Washington, D.C.
That's not normal.
I'm just saying, it wasn't snowing, wasn't raining, wasn't freezing.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's not normal weather-wise.
Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely not that, because we had the hottest November in record in Utah here just recently, because it was 70 degrees the other day.
It did not feel like November.
No.
I know what November is supposed to feel like, and that was not November.
So anyway,
should it really be 70 degrees up mountains in November?
No, it shouldn't. No.
That doesn't seem right.
Kevin, have you ever heard what Utah's known for?
Mormons and the Utah Jazz. I don't know.
Greatest snow on earth. No, skiers from all around the world come here because we have the greatest snow on earth.
Because it's usually only 2 months of them not being able to use the mountains a year.
Yeah, exactly. The snow we get here is unique, perfect powder, because we have a salt lake, and so we have this lake effect with a saltwater lake that creates this perfect powder snow because we're in a desert, and so we get the perfect precipitation that gives us this perfect snow for skiing on. That's just a delight. You can be an amateur and ski like you're an expert. It's wonderful. Our ski resorts still aren't open, and they usually open before Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So back to the Trump stuff that we have here. This is as Seth Abramson says here. God damn, I didn't have any drinks tonight. Says that this is this is pretty goddamn amazing, because what he entered into the record is pretty much it's a sea change that it changed public discourse, he says here, because any possibility that the Trump-Russia probe is, as they put it, a witch hunt, sour grapes, or a nothing burger is gone now, because this is 100% real. This is the guy that was like one of the people in the chain of command that they had to fire. The head of the NSA, the head of the DIA. He was a member. He was a head of all these fucking groups. He was a general. And he just barely came out this last 48 hours when he came out with this shit. And he's saying, I'm going to start working for the interest of America. It's like, I'm going to start working for the interest of America.
Exactly. No, he didn't. That's not what he said.
What did he say?
He said that he's doing it for the best interest of himself and his family.
Yeah.
Oh!
But he also said in the same statement, I'm going to take the interest of the United States more serious. Like, I'm going to start taking the interest of America seriously. It's like, wait a minute, you were the head of all these agencies? I wonder what kind of shit that they got on him.
Because the Turkish government aren't paying him anymore, so he can pretend to give a fuck about America.
Oh, and he was
Is there any member of the fucking White House that hasn't lied about this?
No. There's not.
Yeah.
And so what it says here is that this is all real. This happened, and the charge that he pled to will give him like 1 to 5 years, which is very light for a federal crime.
Very, very light, and
So
very,
light.
very light considering what he was initially charged with.
Yeah.
So gorgeous.
What he was initially charged with
Which
would
is how
land him
we
in
know
prison the
this is-
rest of his life.
And Mueller did this very specifically. That's how we know this was a plea deal.
So court documents show that Flynn now says he was in contact with the top officials on the transition team, which was Pence, Kushner, Spicy, and a couple of other folks.
Oh, Spicy! I forgot about old Spicy.
I wonder what Bush he's hiding in right now. But anyway,
nothing will ever top. He was the harbinger for all of this, because his fucking absurd rant about how the massiveness of the crowd for the inauguration, that was just setting the seal for the lie.
Day one, they lied the fuck and went out there and lied.
They've been gaslighting us for a year. And that shit's hard to live with, man.
I don't know. I guess if you're an abuse victim, it's like, no, I see you.
The second skin. Anyway, so he says here that he was in with the transition team, and he was discussing the U.S. sanctions and the UN Security Council resolution on Israel with Russia. All of the information says we have one of these officials was Jared Kushner. Kushner was working with the Israelis because he's Jewish, and on the Security Council resolution in December with multiple Kremlin agents on the sanctions issue. Kushner was the one that brought Flynn into the transition, so he would have been Flynn's critical contact. So the Kush is going to be going down for sure with whatever comes in next.
For sure. But who else? Tell me who else was on that transition team?
The vice president, Mike Pence.
Hey,
Mike Pence! Oh!
The Koch brothers, lackey.
Oh, but who's going to electrocute the gays now?
Oh, no. They'll have to find somebody else.
Oh, it's almost like all these evil motherfuckers can be called out on their shit.
And the thing to me is that Trump, you think Trump would be quiet about this whole thing?
You would think.
No,
if
he doesn't know how to be quiet about
he doesn't. But even if he was listening, to competent defense attorneys.
Yeah, Ty Cobb is not.
But no.
Only reason I remember his name is because he's the same name as a fucking famous baseball player.
Yeah, Ty Cobb, yeah. And he was racist as fuck as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. He was a fuck.
And I like that there's a Soundgarden song named after him as well, so... Oh,
Give
shit.
It to me, baby. Give it to me.
And so he came out earlier today, and we're recording this on Saturday, Sunday, whatever fucking hour of the year it is. And so he came out and he's like, we fired Flynn because he lied to the vice president and to the FBI.
No, he didn't.
And he never admitted that before. So essentially, let me read it. Let me read it from the journalist that could speak it better than I can. Sorry, I didn't write the name down, but it says the day after Trump fired Flynn, which was on February 14th, Trump urged then FBI Director James Comey to be lenient with Flynn. And according to Comey's notes at the time, saying, "I hope you can let this go."
He said that Flynn had done nothing wrong.
If Trump knew at that time that Flynn had lied to the FBI and was under investigation, the argument goes that it can constitute an attempt to obstruct the investigation by firing Comey and by trying to get him to back off. And it's like, he just came onto Twitter and admitted to obstruction of justice.
Like what makes this even better?
I realize they're not going to do anything about it, but
there have now been reports, leaks from inside the White House saying that statement was drafted by his attorneys.
No.
And so
it was
how bad are his attorneys that not only would let him. Oh,
it's genius. It's almost like if I could pick his attorneys for him, I'd pick these people because they're fucking idiots.
Well, like I was saying, I was saying to these guys earlier, he's now in a position where he either has to look like he was completely culpable and complicit with everything that happened, or he's a complete idiot.
Tell me, darling. Tell me. Yes.
So those are his choices. I'm a complete idiot and I don't know what's going on and what I'm doing, or I was involved.
It's so obvious. It's so obvious these fuckers have been committing treason. It's so obvious.
It's delicious that it's going to come out. Oh, that they unavoidable.
And any of these folks on the right that are still propping him up are going to be swept away as well in 2018. And I honestly hope. I don't want to let my realist mind come into this whole thing, because I actually thought Hillary had a chance. But the thing is, like, I can't bring myself to give myself hope yet that it's going to happen.
Well, to be fair, she did get 3 million more fucking votes.
She did.
So, I mean,
she did.
That's
3 million. That's not nothing.
Well, and it'll be interesting that if
you look at the mathematics of it, it was a fluke that he won.
It was.
Yeah.
The votes fell in the right states in the right numbers.
In the right districts, yeah. And so in districts where there weren't that many Republican voters, but I'm not going to say anything about that. And the guy's
This show's been saying this from the beginning. Just saying.
And he's been projecting, rigged system, rigged election.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm kind of believing anytime anybody from the GOP says anything negative about somebody else, that's what they are. Like any of these people, like, I don't like the gays.
Well, it's not.
Then you think dick tastes yummy,
You don't even have to be conspiratorial about it, because it's there in blatant black and white.
Yeah.
They've been trying to disenfranchise poor, often ethnic minority people to stack the tables in favour of the GOP for fucking decades. And unfortunately, they've been incredibly successful in doing so.
Yeah.
God damn it. So, Kushner's next.
I feel really bad that this British gentleman knows so much about politics.
You have to.
He knows so much more about it than the average person here.
Yeah, it's true.
The average American.
As typical, because your average British person is as uninformed, as fucking stupid, as backward as many Americans. It's just, the difference here is we don't have religion as the poisonous force that America has, and that's why we're in a slightly better place. But that's the only real difference.
And I don't want to derail it too much because we have to wrap it up here. But is there a rabid, nationalism in Britain? I mean, besides Britain first, is there like rabid nationalism that goes on there as well?
I know, and you can see that from the reaction to Trump's tweets of Britain first.
Yeah.
Even the most right wing people in Parliament came out and said, Peter Bone, who's a notorious right wing, came out and asked the Prime Minister if she could put pressure on Mr. Trump to delete his Twitter account.
Yeah.
And he's probably the most right-wing person in Parliament.
And we've been asking Jack Dorsey a long time, please get rid of him. Please take him off the platform. But no, that's never going to fucking happen.
Well, that's the thing. All the people that get censored and all the rest of it on Twitter, the man literally threatened to destroy a nation of 25 million people.
Yeah.
My nipples, just by being female, could get me removed from Twitter permanently, but him spreading hate couldn't.
Him threatening war with another nation.
Him threatening war.
He was going to destroy a nation of 25 million people.
Him threatening war. Him potentially starting World War III doesn't get him banned, but my nipples could.
My nipples.
To play.
To be fair, they are
to play devil's advocate here just a little bit. if they took away his Twitter, he'd have a harder time incriminating himself.
Yeah, that's true.
So
That's true. It's not impossible that we could one day see his tweets
being brought up as
evidence in a criminal trial.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Oh, it's gonna be great too.
On big poster board
Big
that they
placards.
just ring into the.
As much as it would be fair to have his Twitter account closed permanently,
Yeah.
it's sort of like giving him enough rope.
Oh
It
yeah.
really is.
So
Oh man, so
Delete the Twitter account. I don't know. He's
Yeah, I'm torn
kinda,
because I don't.
Yeah.
Because he's encouraging some really hateful ideas on there constantly. Yeah, you know, I'm going to. It's better if he just doesn't have Twitter. Yeah, I'm going with it's better if he doesn't have Twitter.
It would be better
Because
for
the
the
case-
world. Yes.
Because the case is going to be strong enough against him without it. It's better
and
if he doesn't have
Probably
he's
at this
also
point,
like,
yeah.
as we just discussed, he's already incriminated himself enough that. Oh, a bit of filthy Frank in there. Nice. Old school reference. I like it.
Yay!
I've totally forgotten what I was going to say now. I've been distracted.
Yes, it worked.
There we go.
Anyway, this has been the 45th not episode. We haven't done 45 of these, but Jesus Christ. Hey, how about that for your presidential number episode of the Trump Roundup? You've implicated yourself in a crime and your family is about to know what it's like to live in Club Fed for a change. So send him to Leavenworth, make him break rocks.
We'll name a prison after you so we can fit everybody to lock up.
I want him to be in a Magneto-style prison, like the whole...
They usually have like a presidential library. They can have a Trump presidential prison. I think would be appropriate.
Well, that would be appropriate because I don't think he knows what a library is.
I don't think he's seen the inside of one.
He seems like the kind of person that would pronounce it library.
I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does.
This is the Trump presidential library.
I don't know that he's ever said the word.
I don't know. I'll have to look it up because he did show up at the Reagan thing for one of the debates. Maybe he said, I don't know. We'll find it.
If he's removed because he's a monster, does he still get a library?
Yeah, no, we were just talking about that. He doesn't get a library. He gets a library.
His own prison. He gets his own
prison.
I
heard the library. Yeah. I'm just saying, if he is removed for treason, does he get a library?
Maybe
I know it's library. I've never said library until this moment. So,
you can put it right next to the Washington Monument.